morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good morning, everyone. Oh, I'm good.
Good.
I just want to introduce you to everyone first. Everyone, this is her. No, this is Rebecca Zayas from Rebecca Zayas Hypnosis.
Good
And she
morning.
actually bought that company, which was ironic because, you know, stars like, no, I'm just kidding. That's her company that she founded. And she does hypnotherapy, which we're going to talk about what's hypnotherapy for. Because I know before I did it, I've had 3 sessions with her. Before I did it, I really had no idea what it was. So good morning again.
Good morning.
And how long, you've been a hypnotherapist now for a few years, huh?
Yeah, for 5 years.
Nice. And what got you into it?
My life, it just was my life path, I think. Everything seemed like everything led to it in some way, and everything I've learned along the way kind of really just led me there. And when it was time for me to go back to school and learn something new, the path just opened up. So the doors all opened, and there I was.
You went with it.
I went
Now,
with it.
hypnotherapy, a lot of people, you know, the only exposure they have with hypnotherapy is not even therapy at all. It's hypnosis, and it's some magician taking people on stage and telling them to cluck like a chicken. And so this would not be something they're interested in, because it feels like someone's going to control their mind or make them do stuff. Or what's it for? What's the therapy part?
Well, it really is for anything that your mind can think about. I work a lot with childhood trauma, anxiety, depression, weight loss. Those are some of my biggies, but also things like nail biting or smoking or things like that. So,
but what do you do? Like, do you have people come in and then you go, watch their watch, and then they're just totally out, or what do you do?
Right. There are a lot of myths and misconceptions about hypnosis.
That's what I'm saying.
That's one of them. Yeah, so really it's all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So I'm giving you a suggestion to relax, and you're willing to take my suggestion to relax. And really all hypnosis is taking your brain out of a beta wavelength, which is a focused state like we're in right now, or a gamma wave, which could be like a really high anxious state, down into an alpha or a theta. An alpha is just a relaxed state of mind and body, like meditation. A theta is a really deep state of relaxation that's right before sleep. So you're actually in hypnosis every day when you're going down into sleep and when you're coming back up from sleep. It's sort of that twilight phase. Yeah, and you can be in hypnosis when you're reading a book or watching a movie, when you're driving. They call it highway hypnosis, which you don't want to do that, by the way. But you know.
So the hypnosis state is just kind of a open and receptive but awake state?
Yeah.
It's not being out, not out of their control, but it's just open and receptive. And that's where the connection back to our emotional stuff is.
Exactly. Yes. And that really is, your emotions are your connection back to the cause of those emotions. So, you know, sometimes the way we do a lot of regression technique in hypnosis, that's not the only technique. You regress back to a time.
Oh, okay, so go back.
Yeah, you go back. So that could be to childhood, or you know.
I was just going to say that. So a childhood regression means to go back to your childhood and see it as you are now. But yeah, okay.
From the adult's mind. Yeah, so you go back, and it's like you're a rescue mission for the inner child. You know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you get to go back and really reframe that situation for the inner child, the situation that caused the belief, that causes the emotion, that causes the behaviors that you probably acted out your whole life. And, you know, it sort of like becomes our coping skills. And then at some point, our coping skills don't work for us anymore. And that's,
or maybe they never did, just didn't realize it.
Right. Yeah. They were just distractions from what you were feeling, like, you know, drinking or partying or
even anger.
That was fun. Or
that
anger.
Was mine.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, you know. So I did all
keeps
my
people away.
So yeah.
So we have got regressions then, like childhood regression or another type of regression. What other types of hypnotherapy are there?
Well, I have a lot of tools in my tool bag.
Well, maybe
But
just a couple, you know?
okay, we'll talk about parts therapy, which is really powerful. Parts therapy is where you're talking to that part of yourself that doesn't want to let go of a behavior, or that's making you feel really sad or depressed. You're talking to that part because it's part of your consciousness. It's not like a schizophrenia thing. It's just two parts in conflict. You have one part that wants to eat chocolate really bad, and the other part saying, no, you really shouldn't eat that chocolate right now. Right?
So that almost sounds like a really personal guided meditation.
Yes. Yeah, it really is just that. It's very specific.
Well, that would be good. Even for people that like want to meditate but haven't really got into it but want the benefits of it, to have a hypnotherapy session and be able to go right in.
Right.
You said something about, what was the other one that I did? I did the eye movement therapy, and what does that do? How does that work?
So eye movement therapy, really you watch my fingers move, and they're moving back and forth, and we're validating what you've told me about how you feel, your beliefs and your emotions that are causing you, symptoms or behaviors that you are no longer working for you. And we're validating that. But what's happening is we're just recalling that neural pathway that is connected to those beliefs and emotions, behaviors, and we're linking in the optic nerve. And then I change the direction of my fingers, and it's almost like it diffuses.
Sorry, can you show? Because yes, I want you to show like they move in a pathway. It's not like
yes.
No, you actually move in a pathway. So you're recreating a neuronal pathway. Where's my fingers? You're recreating a neuronal pathway and then changing it, and so it's like working from the inside out instead of the outside in.
Exactly. Yes. So we're moving our fingers back and forth, setting up that neural pathway, and then I start truth talking, and my fingers change directions. Hold on, let me get the camera here.
Okay.
I'm confused about where my camera is. I can't walk and move my fingers at the same time.
Oh, so we're gonna chew gum in the next part.
Right. Oh gosh, kidding. I'm in trouble. So the fingers, they kind of move in a diagonal on that, and it diffuses the old neural pathway and creates a new neural pathway. So you create new neural pathways based on truth rather than the old neural pathway, which was based on a pack of lies, And it's really
like an unempowered child. It was true at the time, or seemed true at the time, but as an empowered adult, that's our new truth that we need to get on. We don't have to flip out because it seems like someone's controlling us. We can just step out of that and
you got it.
Get out of it.
Yeah.
And that works like pretty much right after the session, right? Because
it's really
powerful. There it is. Yeah. Yes. That was really good.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and so I usually follow that up with the hypnotic programming. And that's more like a guided meditation than the parts, because in parts you're talking to yourself out loud. And so that's not so much like a guided meditation, but the hypnotic programming definitely is, but it's very specific to you.
And then what did you say? There was another NLP. What's that? Is that what that is?
And it's neuro-linguistic programming. And
fancy.
Again, what?
I said, oh, fancy.
Oh, fancy, yes.
Yeah.
And it really is, again, just about building neural pathways using your senses. So using your visual ability to learn, your auditory ability to learn, your kinesthetic ability to learn. And everybody learns differently. So there's different tools that we use for different people, but most people, kind of have a different, it's not just one way. They can learn visually and or kinesthetic, by doing things or feeling. They feel, right? Like empathic people, they're very kinesthetic. But that doesn't mean that you can't also visualize. Although there are some people who really cannot visualize, or people who are very disconnected from their bodies. So that is also kind of specific to the person, but generally there's overlap in how we learn. So We have some visualization tools and some kinesthetic tools that we use that
And
help
that's
build
not
neuro.
really like if someone was to come to you or to go to a hypnotherapist, they don't have to figure that out. That's the hypnotherapist job, right? Like they just come in and kind of start talking, and that's your job, is to figure out what they do, how they learn. Like they don't have to do some whole self-study on, am I a visual learner or no? You know, can I whatever or no? Because it's just sometimes we try to do other people's job for them, but you know, thinking that we have to do that, it's our responsibility. But this is really it's such a, what I noticed was it's such a professional, not, I don't want to say structured because that sounds rigid, but it's such a professional field of study that for some reason is not super mainstream. Like I would think that people should all have that as soon as they get out of high school. You know, congratulations, here's a gift certificate for hypnotherapy. I just think how my life would have changed, because when we did my first one, that childhood regression, that was something from, what was it, like 32 years before, that I didn't even realize. I mean, I would remember it, but I didn't realize it was having an effect on me. But when I went back as an adult, I saw that scene again as an adult, and I realized what my child took out of it and carried all those years, which was something, you know, unempowered. Basically, like if someone has a problem, it's mine, and it's mine to solve. And that came across as an adult as being very controlling and not being able to relax, not being able to receive lots of things. So that one session just freed that right up. Now, is hypnotherapy, is that something people can do some stuff on their own, or do they need a therapist?
You could do guided meditations on your own. I teach people how to do self-hypnosis. You know, every time you go into hypnosis, you go deeper and faster. So once you learn how to get yourself in that state, and you learn how to word things so that your subconscious mind will receive those suggestions, you can do it for yourself anytime, anywhere, in any circumstance. You know, sometimes if I'm going to be speaking in public, I always get the jitters first, and just bring myself right into that state, tell myself, you know, the positive suggestions that I'm open and, you know, connecting to these people, and, you know, whatever I want to give myself in that moment, and voila, you own the day.
That sounds like it's really removing anxiety too.
Oh yeah, big time.
That's another thing you do? Man, she does it all. So
but let me preface that when I work with things that have been diagnosed, any clinical type thing, I do have to work by referral from a physician. And that, you know, is really just it's a law in the state of Florida. I don't know about other states, but that's just to ensure that they're actually under the care of a licensed medical professional for something clinical.
Yeah, because it's not, I mean, you didn't get your degree by mailing in a coupon. You actually studied like thousands of hours of study and in-person classes and got a degree, but it's not a MD doctor, but it is a real thing. What else is I going to ask you? Okay, so you're in Central Florida, so you do in person, and then you also do phone, Skype. What other ways? If someone lives in Alaska and can't make it down here, be able to.
So Zoom or Skype, Messenger, phone, all of those things I always have from the beginning, because thanks to you, Doe, I have clients all over the country. and I have other friends that live, you know, across country. So I've always used, you know, a virtual system of some sort as well as in person. So, and
do you find it's as effective?
Absolutely. Well, you know, we haven't talked about breath work, but that's an amazing technique that I use more so virtually now because of Corona thing. You know?
What's breath
rather
work?
than in the office. So breath work is it is a certain kind of breath that's used to clear stuck emotions, stuck energy. It takes your mind where you need to go to heal, you know. So rather than having a specific direction, it's more we keep it open so that the mind can go wherever it needs to go. We don't say, okay, we're going to go back to a specific time and when something happened. But it's incredibly powerful for people with really stuck emotions who are, if you've been pushing stuff down, compartmentalizing, which a lot of us do. Even sometimes I find that I'm, like, okay, I can't deal with that right now. I'm just going to put that over there, lock it down tight. I'll get to it later.
And right? A lot of people think repressing emotion is strong because that's what we've been told too. Don't cry, you're an adult. So you just kind of repress it, but it's still there and it builds and builds. And your conscious mind says it's not allowed to come out. But the breath work, breath work is it's like a breathing technique or breathing techniques that you show a person how to do, and you're there with them, and then that stuff comes out.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
You got it.
I did it before. I'm cheating. Yeah, and that really, like, there's actually a lot of different people that do a lot of stuff on breath work now. And I mean, to the extreme, people do certain breathing techniques and they have like hallucinations, but that's not the kind of thing that you're doing. It's, you might have, see visual things, but it's not an attempt to get high. I've seen that. It's like, people are holding their breath and doing crazy breathing techniques, and it's like, oh, this is crazier than acid. But it's not that at all. It's actually, it's a therapy tool to get deep inside and allow the breath to bring out emotions.
Right.
I just feel like if I hear anything crazy, even if nobody's ever heard it, I'd rather just say it, because when you've never heard of something before, you're like kind of skeptical, even like at our age, to be like, wait a minute, why have I never heard this before? And like I said, the only thing people may have heard of is a magician making people make fools of themselves and have no control over it. So that, I think that's actually kind of really bad, that's the impression that we were given somehow about hypnosis is that it's something that's going to make a fool out of people and have them out of their control, because it's the exact opposite. It actually, when you have the therapy, you stop making a fool out of yourself by, throwing a 3-year-old tantrum over something. And to you, it's real in that moment. But once you do the hypnotherapy, you'll be like, wow, that I did not have to react that way, did I? So it actually does the exact opposite of what people might think it does,
Right, exactly. Yes, I have a good sense of humor about what I do, because there's so much misconception around it. So when people give me the look, and I tell them I'm a hypnotherapist, and they give me the, oh, I'd say, don't worry, I won't make you cluck like a chicken unless you want to.
How do they think like that's what you do? You just snake around looking for people that you can make cluckers. You're like, well, if I was real smart, I would have told you I sell bags or something like that. I wouldn't even told you I was a hypnotherapist, and it's just, you're not looking. So now, how many sessions does it take to really see a difference in, I know there's no average, and there's people who've already done, does having done talk therapy help, or does that matter?
Well, I think that, cognitive behavioral type therapies go hand in hand, because what we're really doing is getting to root cause and letting go, reframing that root cause, and, making it, helping you see it in a different way that's empowering to you. Mm-hmm. But what I don't do is really give people the play-by-play on, okay, now when you move forward, this is how you say things to people. And this is, where cognitive behavioral can be very good for that, like how to talk to your partner, or, those kind of things.
Well, that's like cognitive behavioral is on the surface really like logical, mental, and it's like, if this block doesn't fit in here, put it in here, but the hypnotherapy, that's emotional. And so it's like the reactions and the emotions and the feelings, which you can't cap them once they blow up. So to get to the root, which you're saying, and diffuse what the wound is, they're not going to blow up again.
Right.
That's how I see it.
But they still may say something like, when your wife asks you how she looks, and you say, oh, you look fine.
Not ugly.
and you will not understand why she is so mad at you. cognitive behavioral is, really, is really for that kind of how you phrase things, or the how to on how to move through an ordinary day, I guess, and situations.
It's like an instruction manual.
Right.
And sometimes we got bugs from the assembly line that we need to have fixed first before that manual is really going to work.
Exactly. Or you'll just always have the battle in your head about what I should be doing and why I can't do it. Why can't I do that? I know exactly what to do, but I cannot do it. And then it becomes what I call the downward spiral, because you're trying so hard to make changes, and for whatever reason you just can't, and then you judge yourself and you blame yourself, and the worse you feel, the more you go back to that old behavior, because it was the thing that kept you from feeling bad in a moment. So,
right. And then the more you think like, well, I'm so screwed up, I'll never fix it, forget it, why even bother? So it's actually, instead of taking steps forward, it's stopping right there and trying to numb it again until it's probably going to blow up at some point again.
Yep.
Yes. That's why I want people to know about your work and about, about hypnotherapy in general. Now, are you doing, you said that you do, you teach people how to, kind of meditate themselves and stuff. Are you going to do a course, or do you do any Zoom webinars where people can come in and learn that, or is that a future thing?
I think that's a future thing. And Doe's been trying to get me to do that for a long time now.
Oh, really? Who's this Doe lady? She must be cognitive behaviorally. She's pushing you. Something in your emotional is not letting you do the course, but she wants them.
You're often my muse.
Oh, thank you.
My inspiration to create new things.
Oh, I just think it'll be wonderful. And then also, some people maybe they're still on the fence or not sure about actually doing sessions like with you or with anyone. So to do like a course on a guided thing so that it's totally in their control, and they can do it on their own time, and they can feel the difference that happens just on their own, that might be a necessary first step before actually, going to someone. So or it might be that that's all they want for the next 10 years, and they just don't want to expand and open up all the way just yet, which I think is fine too. Yeah, after I had 3 sessions with you and you're like, okay, do you want to come back the next week? I'm like, no, that was actually a lot. I'm going to need to have nightmares for a month and process this, because it was like everyone's pace is different and nothing is wrong as long as, as long as you feel good with it. And then I had another one after, I think like 2 months, and then another one after like 6 months. I don't remember exactly, but I remember it wasn't like, all right, come back next week at 8, we'll do this again. And it wasn't like, there's no pressure for that, because it is really big stuff, like cleaning out the entire garage in one day instead of just like making plans to,
Right. Well, and normally we don't start out with a regression or breath work. We build you up to that because you're such a meditative person, and our friendship, we kind of started off with the big guns, Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for that.
So we, I normally start off with the eye movement therapy and the hypnotic programming, and then we move into parts therapy. We kind of work up and give you tools before we get to the big stuff, because sometimes
so that people feel more confident and comfortable with being that open.
Yeah, and they have resources when they've, moved through that, because what happens is your heart opens up, and then you feel more vulnerable for a little bit, and you need some tools to keep your heart open. That's the tricky part,
Yeah. Just fascinating stuff. So you're going to do a little NLP, a little neuro-linguistic programming for us. Show us how to do something today.
Yeah. We normally do it with our eyes closed, but we're walking and yapping.
Yeah, I would bang into a stop sign here if I did that. I'd be like, man, it's a sign. I need to stop that.
Yeah.
Well, the people watching, they could do, if you should be,
Okay.
They always say, don't drive a car. Like everyone's just driving cars and closing their eyes, but don't be driving a car. We'll say it too. And how long is this going to be ish? Yeah. Don't operate any heavy machinery. Oh, I better get off the tractor for this. Thank you.
Right.
Otherwise, I would have just plowed all this corn.
Yeah, it'll only take, it's like 2 minutes. When I'm in the office, I usually do it a couple of times, you know, to really reinforce the feelings. But we'll just do it once here so they can experience.
All right. Well, if it's 2 minutes, I can just stop here. I'm on a side street.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I can close my eyes.
I thought I would do a visual and a kinesthetic, unless you just want to do the one. Either one is fine. But,
whatever you think. It's your show. I'm closing my eyes and I'm just here now.
Okay, awesome. So imagine, or just think about, or feel that there is a picture frame in front of you. And inside that picture frame, you're standing there just how you have been feeling this morning, which may be pretty good right now for you, Doe, because we're walking and getting our endorphins going, right? But you know, if you're at home and you have some feelings, just check in with your body. If there's some physical sensations or some emotional stuff coming up for you, just put it in that picture. Whatever it is, this is the validation part. You validate yourself by putting it in that picture, seeing it there, but make that picture black and white and pixelated. And then I want you to, down in the bottom right-hand corner, put a very little picture of yourself in very bright colors of you as you want to be. Maybe that's happy or peaceful, content, feeling good. Whatever those things are, just put it down in the bottom right-hand corner in very vivid colors. And then I'm going to count from 1 to 3 and snap my fingers, and you're going to blow up that beautiful full color picture till the black and white is completely gone. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful full color picture, expanding, getting bigger, brighter, more beautiful. Black and white is disappearing away, getting smaller and smaller. When the picture of you as you want to be, that's in beautiful, full, vivid colors, of you being happy or peaceful or content, feeling good, is completely expanded and the black and white is gone. Let me know. If anything gets in your way, let me know that too.
That feels pretty good.
Yeah. So give me one word for that feeling, Doe.
Joy.
What, if anything, would feel even better than joy?
I don't know. I'm liking this right now.
Okay, awesome. So just put your hand on your heart.
Okay.
Or in an okay sign. You can do either one, whatever works for you. And just inhale really deep. And feel that joy and exhale. And when you exhale, just think or say a word or a phrase that would remind you of that joy.
Sorry, I had a bug and fly in my ear.
That's okay. That's all right. And inhale deeply. And exhale slowly. And think or say your word or phrase that reminds you of that feeling of joy.
Present.
Inhaling deeply. And exhaling slowly.
There's dogs meeting each other. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
Keep going.
You're good. No. So we would just do that breath 3 times. And really, the long, deep breath, it's a great tool anytime. And you can use that picture frame, validating yourself, right? Use the black and white picture to validate yourself. The little tiny picture in the beautiful, vivid colors, and you expand that out. And this, it's a tool you can use anywhere, anytime, if you're not feeling so wonderful.
You dogs wreck my joy! I'm kidding. Would you be able to do that on your YouTube channel? Where like it's in your office or your studio, so that people aren't gonna have dogs barking because I'm walking around the neighborhood and all of a sudden the dogs all start to bark out once. So that way people could do that, you know, and enter with a little deep breathing and whatever, and not be like such a fast change from listening to trying to do it to dogs fighting down the street. They weren't actually fighting. There was 2 people with their dogs, and they're like, "Oh, do you guys want to meet right here, 5 feet away from this person who's standing peacefully?" Yeah, it's a good idea. But anyways,
of course,
they were just they weren't hurt or anything. They were just
Good.
they were both on leashes, and they just decided that they needed some hypnotherapy to get through. They needed puppy regression to get through their traumas. But in the meantime, they were going to bark at each other. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So there you have it. Okay. So that was that the visual one then, and what's the kinesiology one?
You want to try that one now? Are you in a good spot?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, I think so.
So, just close your eyes.
Okay, let me get off the road. This is a car going.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean.
Right.
Don't be on the road.
No.
So, close your eyes and imagine that below you is a trap door. And you're standing on the earth there, but you could imagine there's a trap door, and underneath there's a room that's filled with light. And in that light are all the good, positive things that you want in your life. The joy, the peace, the love, whatever resonates with you that you want to put in that light down below you. Just imagine that it's there, and that light is like a beautiful sphere, and it fills up the entire space. And in a moment, I'm going to count from 3 down to 1 and snap my fingers. And when I do, you're going to drop down and through into the light. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Dropping down and through into the light, into that light of peace and joy and love. Whatever good feelings are in that light, just allow that light as if you were absorbing it into every cell of your body. And when you can feel that, just let me know. If anything gets in your way, let me know that too.
Oh, I feel it.
Good.
I'm in it.
Awesome. Give me one word for that feeling.
Light.
Oh, good. What, if anything, would feel even better than light?
I don't know.
Good. So, as the bicyclers go by, right?
What bicyclers? I'm in my light room, girl. No bicycles in here. They couldn't fit through that trap door.
So you can open your eyes if you want.
Okay.
But yeah, so we would, so what we would do when I'm asking you about, give me one word for how you feel right now, is I'm making sure that you're in that space. If anything.
Oh, yeah. Right? Well, first when you said trap door, I was a little scared. I was like, oh, I'm going to fall, you know, but right? When you're like, you know, that you're going into it. And then when I was in there, actually, my right shoulder, you know, that's been bugging me for like 99.5 years, that actually just felt all of a sudden real light.
Yeah, that's very powerful. And it's so quick. You can use it anywhere, you know, if you just give yourself a minute, you just, you know, imagine it and drop down into the feelings. And what you're doing is that moment that you had a feeling, ooh, there's a trap door beneath me. You were setting up an emotion, but the emotion is what brought you into the other emotions. Yeah. You just you started off with that little moment of unsure or fear. And
right.
But because you already were in your emotional body, it was much easier for you to get to the other emotions.
That was really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Never done that. And I'm not faking. I never did either of those before. That was the first time here.
Yeah.
And without the, you know, what are you going to do? We're going to have planes sometimes and dogs and bicycles on the walk, but you're going to have some fun things like that for people that they can do and incorporate into their days on your YouTube channel, which I'm going to link in the description, wherever it's going to be. I think it's below. And then they can come see you, or they can contact you for a session if they feel so guided. And sometime you're going to have a course.
Yes, sometime I'm going to have a course.
More.
But I will. What I do promise is that I will have those 2 techniques on my YouTube channel by tomorrow.
All right.
That's easy enough.
And I'll link your YouTube. And I mean, yeah, I think that will be fun, especially, you know, when someone's going through a stressful time. Maybe they don't even have time for anything besides a couple minutes. And so they can visit you and on your YouTube
Mhm.
and do some little short things that's just going to help them get set up. And then whenever they're ready and they, now, do you have a network? Like say someone wants in person, is there like a network of hypnotherapists that you can refer people to if that's what they wanted? Or
Yes, if they're not in Central Florida and they want to go somewhere else, I through the certifying board that I belong to and through the school, there are lists of people around the country, but you know, they could always, call the school or call
okay,
the International
well we can have
Institute.
that. We can put your website, and then if someone wants to contact you and ask for that, they can do that. I mean, me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've always said like finding a good hairdresser and a good veterinarian and a good
Mm-hmm.
doctor and a good dentist, like it's such a shaky thing when you
Yeah,
don't have a good one, and when you find a good one, you stick with them, and
right.
you hope that they stay in business and well forever. And I think, me personally, that's the same with hypnotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like if you feel that the Skypes and the Zooms are just as effective, then people should probably just go for that, because I know you're very humble, but you are really amazing and focused and passionate about this career and this study. And that, I mean, some people, you don't know. Some people might just have one of those mail away, send $10 in a coupon, and you get a degree. And and then people, if they do that for their first time, they'll be like, "Oh, this hypnotherapy stuff doesn't even work," Whereas if they have you the first time, they might expect everyone's like that and be super disappointed in a lot. But there we go.
Yeah. The
That
yard
is called
guys.
garbage. Yeah, that's
Garbage.
called garbage truck and leaf therapy.
Yeah.
The beeping stimulates. I don't know. All right. Well, it was relatively, undisturbed, except trying to do the meditations. But that's good, because that means people could just go to your page and get them there,
Mhm.
and they'll be even more awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank
And
you so much. Is there?
you're welcome.
Go ahead. And there are.
Oh, there are some guided meditations on my YouTube channel.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for those.
You're welcome.
Oh, I think I remember the ocean one, the beach one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know you added more. That's because I
Yeah.
didn't do research. I thought I knew it all. Is there anything else you wanted people to know about hypnotherapy, or anything else that you wanted
I
that
don't
I
think
didn't
so.
ask or cover? Okay.
You
Well,
asked
that's
some
good
good
then.
questions, though. You're a good
Oh, thank
interviewer.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right.
You're
Well, thank you so
welcome.
much for walking and yapping this morning.
My
And
pleasure.
you have a wonderful day.
Sounds great. Thank you. You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.